Well, big news today from Zamir White. The Georgia running back is returning to Athens for his senior season of playing college football. Got a lot to say about this one. Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. I visited Zamir when he was in high school a couple of times up in North Carolina, and I think he's a special guy, very determined and very focused on his future and what his future will be for his family, etc. He's, his famous quote during his time at Georgia is, "I don't want to be a failure," and one way or another, he's not going to be one, because this will mean that he'll graduate from Georgia and probably give himself a better shot at the NFL by coming back. Easier said than done, but I think that this is probably the right move. It's so hard to know. It's the right move if he doesn't get hurt. And maybe it's just the right move, period. Maybe he wasn't ready to go to the NFL. But the big question is, what does this mean for Georgia? When you look at Zamir in 2020, he became their primary ball carrier. He wasn't flashy. He was steady. 779 yards in 10 games, 11 touchdowns. Obviously, he had that long run, 75-yarder against the Gators. Coming out of the backfield, only 37 yards receiving it. So he was a guy that, as games went on, they didn't have to use him as much, because most of the time Georgia was winning sort of going away, if you will. But the interesting thing, too, is he really was their first down back. He got more production by average as the downs progressed. First down, averaging 5 yards. Second down, 5.7. And then third down, 6.1. But he only had the ball 17 times on third down. That's why when you couple Zamir coming back with James Cook coming back, okay, I thought they needed one. And I thought maybe James Cook would be more valuable. But now you got both. That doesn't change everything, but it's a lot of change in terms of how this program can progress moving forward. Basically, every single skill player is back from 2020. So you get Zamir back, you get James Cook back. Obviously, all the receivers are back, including Dominique Blaylock. You get JT Daniels back. You got to figure out the offensive line. If there's a lot to figure out there, I don't know. But with Zamir coming back, you're really going to see how good Georgia could be under JT Daniels as well as Todd Monken. It's not a game changer. I hate people being so hyperbolic on the internet and everywhere, but with the return of Zamir, what you're talking about is you get a steady dose consistently. This is a guy who we still have not seen, I don't think, his best football. And he's going to be the primary ball carrier coming into this 21 season. But you see a guy like Kendall Milton getting banged up a little bit. We haven't seen the best of Kendall Milton either. Zamir, Kendall, James Cook, McIntosh, they've got everything you want moving forward. Edwards. I don't know if it's the best backfield in the country, but it's probably the deepest in the country. And in this league, in the SEC, Alabama was fortunate that their running back, who is an absolute star, did not get hurt the entire year. They have guys, no question about that. But he was the engine for them. Georgia's bet is not on one single ball carrier. When you look at James and you look at Zamir and you got Kenny McIntosh and you've got, Kendall Milton, you got Edwards, and you've got Carroll coming in, you can spread those guys out. This also means that Zamir will have the capability of playing special teams. He changed that Arkansas game with his play on special teams with that block punt. Zamir White was the guy that blocked the punt. Zamir White could be the guy that has the game-winning touchdown in the national championship game and block a punt. So, as a person, you're talking about a guy who's driven, who is quiet, driven, works, and has had, people over-talk about adversity. You want to talk about adversity? Look at Zamir's life, okay? From when he was an infant to then obviously no one knew who he was or whatever then, all right? From what he overcame at the time, just as a human being, a small little human being, to then everyone knew who he was. People like me are going to go watch him play. He's a big deal and all this stuff, and that gets taken away from him. And then he's starting to come back, and then that gets taken away from him again. You know, you want to be humble, all this stuff. This guy's actually lived being humble. he's been humbled by the game. And now he's made the decision, and time will tell if it's the correct one. You know, and we won't know. We don't know what it was and for him to come out, and we wouldn't have known what his future would be. My suspicion is that this is the right call for a few different reasons. Mainly that he'll get that 4th full year of college, all right? That gives you what should be a bachelor's degree, or if not, you're right on top of it. Secondly, it gives him the capability of fulfilling that 4th year. He didn't get the first year. This will be his 3rd full year of football. And 2019, I mean, that was a lot about DeAndre Swift's time at Georgia. I mean, Zamir was not becoming himself. Can he continue to develop? I don't know that he can't. I mean, but the guy that I saw in high school has not been the guy I've seen in college. He's been a different back. But you can't replace experience, being the calmness that I think Zamir brings, and just this stick-to-itiveness, if you, for lack of a better term, his, wanting to be great by just not really saying anything, but just doing. And we're going to see. I mean, I don't talk like this a lot about guys, but I genuinely like him as a I thought I think that the guy that I know, and I don't know him super well, was always easy to deal with, shy, but man, if you watch him play football, it was amazing to me how good he was. Amazing to me how good he was. And I think him coming back is a form of leadership, if you want to call it that. These are all decisions that these guys have to make in their moment for them. And it coincides with Zamir coming back. Yes, it benefits Georgia, but it benefits Zamir too. And everybody that I talked to in his hometown, they were very big fans of Zamir. They didn't make it like he was perfect or anything like that, but he was. They really liked him in a way that everybody from the hometown likes guy. This was more than that, and there was a lot of cheering for Zamir specifically, and we will never know what he's like with, without the ACL injuries that he's had. But we know what he's like since then, and it's pretty good. Has it been what I thought it could have been? No, but you don't get to choose your path in life sometimes. Sometimes you get injured doing what you're supposed to be doing. Life's not fair. You don't get, to choose, I want to be this. It's not how it works. Almost the vast majority of life occurs after something bad happens. So for Zamir, he's got his whole life in front of him. And I cheer for him because of a conversation he and I had 4 years ago, and that I want him to succeed. But you could tell that day he was driven. This was not lip service. For the Dawgs, you got your leading rusher back. You got your biggest playmaker at running back. You've got your starting quarterback back. You've got Pickens, Jackson, Roseme St. I'm sorry about his last name, Burton, and then Blaylock comes back. Nevertheless, you've got Darnell Washington, etc. at tight end. This offense should be rolling. Now, you're going to deal with Clemson at the beginning of the season. I don't know if you're going to see a better defense than you're going to see with Clemson. So, first week, it might not be sort of explosive the way that it could be. But maybe it will. Maybe it will. We can't know. But Zamir coming back, that matters a lot for Georgia. Make sure you're clicking on this playlist up here. You see it, you know it, and I want to make sure that I see you on the website. Thanks for watching. We'll see you over on dogpost.com.